your favorite YouTube dealer. I appreciate you guys for stopping in. I had somebody hit me up on Twitter and say Dax was doing a Jay-Z Blueprint 2 remix. So you know we got to dive in and see what this is all about. And he said he's rapping again. So I'm looking forward to this. Apparently he's on tour with Joyner Lucas starting May 11th. Shout out to him because that's definitely a good look. Joyner Lucas is one of my favorite rappers. I feel like that man is different. So again, respect. Let's dive in and let's see what Dax is cooking with. It's a classic beat too.
Knew I was coming, I told him I was a soldier. Doubled the work when they minimized the exposure. Called my mama and told her I'm taking over. She started gassing me up just like a General Motor. Told me that I would pop, kinda some soda. Glass was half empty and now the cup running over. Had to go to the doctor, told him to give me pills for the pain I knew I would feel when I had the game on my shoulders. Started.
Woo, okay. I'm gonna give him this. Okay, all right, Dax. My man's starting off pretty fire with this one. I can respect it. This beat is so classic. Like that sample of just that, oh, I can't listen. I always try things when I'm talking about them. I could never replicate it, but you know what? I still try. Credit for that.
Yeah, knew I was coming. I told him I was a soldier. Doubled the work when they minimized the exposure.
So that's interesting. Told you I was a soldier. Doubled the work when they minimized the exposure. And I assume what he's saying is he's not getting as much push and reach on YouTube. Because at one point, Dax was doing crazy millions of views. It seems like he's still doing some pretty solid views, but it's obviously not where it was. But I feel like a lot of channels have went down as far as that goes. And I think it just kind of depends, right? Because especially during the period of 2020, 2021, like that whole stay inside shit, everybody's numbers were crazy boosted and going wild. And then everyone kind of dropped down a little bit. And I feel like he held on for quite a while, but inevitably it does start to waver a little, at least on YouTube. His streaming services are probably doing pretty strong.
Called my mama and told her I'm taking over. She started gassing me up just like a General Motor. Told me that I would pop, kinda some soda. Glass was half empty and now the cup running over. Had to go to the doctor, told him to give me pills for the pain I knew I would feel when I had the game on my shoulders. Started penning the pad, I was 22 years of age. Had to make up some time cause I knew that I started late. Obsessive compulsive with it while studying all the greats. I added my own chapter, this remix another page. Now I'm selling out these shows, I can hear them screaming my name. Out the booth to the stage and then back in the booth again. Making music, you're feeling your soul and that makes your brain connect on a deeper level while pushing you to be great. Who do I idolize? Yeah, the one and only God. Looking back, I'm thankful mama used to beat me with that rod. Wasn't always justified, but see, life was real hard as a woman with 3 kids, working like 3 jobs. Thinking back, I was troubled and lost while in my youth, asking the wrong questions, reading the wrong truths, fighting to appease an ego, stealing to pay for hoop, while chasing these stupid bitches that eat the forbidden fruit.
Yo, he said chasing these stupid bitches that eat the forbidden fruit. He calling them Eves. He's like, listen, they effing it all up. That's really what's happening. I totally get him. Listen, there was a period of life for a lot of us, definitely for me, where growing up, I was focused on all the wrong things. I was reading into the wrong shit. I was focused on all these things that did not matter. I was trying to chase girls, which, you know, I feel like I'm guilty of that always. It's a tough struggle. It's a tough struggle. But that aside, I totally understand that. And I feel like as of late, over the last like 4 or 5 years, I've slowly pushed myself more towards structure, work ethic, and things that actually matter. And it's upsetting that I didn't do this sooner. I wish that I did it way sooner because things could be so much different now, but can't change the past, right? You can only work going forward from the place that you're at. So I try to stay in the present, think towards the future, and make the best choices that I can now. But I can totally understand where he's coming from. As far as where he shot this video, is this not, I don't know if it's the same place, but it's similar to like where Hobson did his, one of the Ill Mind of Hobson's, right? I think so, because I believe they're both in Cali. So a lot of the places you see can tend to be the same that some people go to. I don't know if this is exactly it because I feel like there wasn't like the green in the background. So I could be wrong, but it seems similar.
I was troubled and lost while in my youth, asking the wrong questions, reading the wrong truths, fighting to please an ego, stealing to pay for who? While chasing these stupid bitches that eat the forbidden fruit. Went to church, got baptized, boat I was in, capsized. Overtime in the gym in the year I became that guy. Hoop, I did it religiously, pray I did that consistently. Mixing the two together, then altered my inner chemistry. 25 points a game, kept unloading the clip. Carlton Ravens University coach said I was him. Then lied to my fucking face and tried sabotaging my shit. So I packed up my fucking bags and went got my own scholarship. That's a fact. I had to get it out the mud. Undersized, no looks, no help, no love. Pass up living life to parties, drinking, smoking, doing drugs and popping bottles. Getting litty with these niggas in the club. To understand the man I am, you must know who I was and how every yell doubled up and transformed itself to a dub. Through my work, consistency, repetition, and love mixed with the pain that inspired the anger to rise above. You gon' remember me.
Whew. Oh, yo, listen, Dax's music ability has leveled up quite a lot, and he's making some really dope music, saying some shit. Like his writing has leveled up, all that kind of stuff. He can't write a diss track to save his life, but but that aside, I think musically he's really on point. And I like what he said. You have to understand who I was to understand who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's very important because the shit that I've been through is what molded me and created this person that's here in front of you that you guys are watching and a fan of now. So you gotta know that to know this. And I also like the part where he said about the L's transformed and turned into a dub. That was actually kind of fire.
Doing drugs and popping bottles, getting litty with these niggas in the club. To understand the man I am, you must know who I was and how every yell doubled up and transformed itself to a dub. Through my work, consistency, repetition, and love mixed with the pain that inspired the anger to rise above. You gon' remember me. Yeah, that's my promise. I'm here and I'ma leave a legacy. There's no containing my grind and my fucking energy. I put my heart and my soul inside of these melodies. I'm sparking minds with my fire and my intensity. If you think I'm gonna stop, you must be smoking methamphetamine. I don't ever get tired, there's no catching me. This right here is my destiny. Better pray for my enemies, cause they can't match my pedigree. And that's a fact. And yeah, I'm probably a narcissist. How the fuck y'all think I always drop the hardest shit? I focus on myself, and if you ain't a part of it, you dead to me and rest in piss with all the other carcasses. In 4 years, I had to go to 3 different colleges. That's the result of believing in empty promises. Swallowed my pride and secreted in my esophagus, but now I'm sick with it, so fuck it, I'm about to vomit it. I'm out of reach, I set the bar too high. Fuck you for saying and thinking I couldn't fly. I gave my heart to the game, and the day I had to cut ties, I was in a state of delusion and actually started to cry. Fell to my knees, was disgusted, and looked up right to the sky. Thought God, I'm getting revenge, then waited for a reply. And as the tears filled up and started leaving my eyes, I said it's fuck these pussies until the day that I die. I fuck you thought was gonna happen.
Yo, the delivery on this is crazy. So there was something that he said that I've been thinking about since he said it, where he said, you're going to remember me, I'm going to leave a legacy. And I started to think about it, right? Like, there's a lot of people that have made a crazy amount of attention. I'm trying to think of the way to put it. Like, they've brought a lot of attention to themselves. They made a crazy, I don't know why I keep going with the word crazy. Anyways, all I'm trying to say is they bring a lot of attention on themselves, right? They do extremely well. They grow on YouTube and they're known by quite a lot of people, right? But it seems like that level has a ceiling, and it doesn't matter because you can make a great living off of it. So at the end of the day, like, who cares? But as far as like the ceiling of being known in the household, right? Like, that is one place where the industry and the labels and all that stuff still kind of have control over, right? Like, you're not going to be a household name unless you actually started to work with the industry, because they're going to control the media and where you can go as far as like the radio stations, which I guess aren't really as relevant anymore, but TV shows, different stuff like that, being on a big stage, like performing at a Super Bowl. Like, there's not going to be somebody who's just independent that's going to go and do that, I don't think. I think at some point that will happen, but we're not quite there yet. So there is still a ceiling to it. That ceiling is extremely high, and you can make millions of dollars and be completely successful on your own. But as far as being a household name, there's still that little gap. And I never really thought about it like that, right? Because I'm always talking about how great it is that we can distribute our own music, we can do YouTube, we can do our own thing, and we don't need the labels. But if you ever want to reach that echelon, it's a bridge that you can't cross over yet without them. I do think that that's going to change, though. I just think that it's another generation or two away, because I think as of now, there's a lot of kids that are way more familiar with streamers, YouTubers, content creators. Like, the younger generation is growing up on YouTube, on all these different things. And once that generation starts to become in their 30s and 40s, and they start to be the older generation and are, at that point, everybody that's alive is going to be people that are very well-versed in YouTube, well-versed in content creators and streamers and stuff like that. And at that point, those people will have and hold so much more power, and that gap will cease to exist. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? So I feel like we're almost there. We're not quite there yet because there's still a large amount of people above certain generations that just aren't on YouTube that strongly to have someone be a household name. Some people are, but not everybody, right? And at some point, it's going to drastically change, and I'd say it's in the next couple of generations.
You for saying and thinking I couldn't fly. I gave my heart to the game, and the day I had to cut ties, I was in a state of delusion, and actually started to cry. Fell to my knees, was disgusted, and looked up right to the sky. Thought, God, I'm getting revenge, then waited for a reply. And as the tears filled up and started leaving my eyes, I said, it's fuck these pussies until the day that I die. I fuck you thought was going to happen. I took that energy, put it into the rapping. Hopped in my bag and let go of all of the baggage. I took my thoughts and converted them into action. Then in the midst of the pain, I seeped into madness. Started thinking and crafting, devising a plan to attack them, burn them, turn them to ashes and harbor. And turned myself into a savage. Became one of the hardest to walk on the planet. And now you gotta watch. That's how.
Woo, they had like the DMX feel, the dun 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 dun.
Devising a plan to attack them, burn them, turn them to ashes and harbor. And turned myself into a savage. Became one of the hardest to walk on the planet. And now you gotta watch. That's how this story goes. That's how this chapter writes. That's how my pen flows. That's how my words flip, hit, click, boom. They blow a gap in the matrix and leave a gaping hole. For everybody who doubted me and has told me no, who couldn't measure the passion I had inside my soul. Every seed that I planted and that I ever sowed. For every rep that I did and all the sweat I poured. Overnight as a janitor back when I was broke. To black and tan and walking out in the freezing cold. The welfare and having to wear the same clothes. And all the bitches who cheated and never did me wrong. For everybody who laughed and said that I was a joke. I hope you feel every word I say and I ever spoke. Then have to swallow your pride and in the process choke. Trying to stomach the fact that I said I told you so.
He's like, this man was feeling it. All right, yeah, no, this was dope. This is probably one of the better tracks that I've heard from Dax, and I feel like he had some shit he had to get off his chest. And shout out to him for that. You know, like I said, there was some differences back in the day where I thought he was doing some funny things. And so I put my video out exposing some of that shit. And then we had all these diss tracks that came out because he challenged us. Again, my man can't really write a diss track, but that's okay. Not everybody can. You know, we've seen it with Gone and in 6 Seconds, and both of those are my homies. Love Gone, love Six, but Six is a battler. He can battle. Gone is making music, right? It's like it's hard to cross over that barrier. And I feel like the same with Dax. He makes really great music, but the diss, you know what I'm saying, the diss track's a little shaky, but that's okay. So that's not important because you're not going to make a legacy off of diss tracks, right? For the most part, you might get some attention, but the legacy comes from great music. It comes from consistency. It comes from that hard work, going on tour with people like Joyner Lucas. So shout out to him. And I look forward to that day when that gap is closed as far as becoming a household name, because at some point it's going to be possible. As long as YouTube stays around, as long as the ability to distribute our own music stays around, as long as all of that stuff is still relevant and happening and none of that kind of just goes away, I'd say in another generation or two, you can become a household name all by yourself. As of right now, I think you can become extremely popular and amongst the younger generations, but that doesn't make you an overall household name amongst everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take time for these other generations to kind of move into the older people position, so to speak. And then the younger generations that are definitely all on content creation and everything. And then it's like everybody will have an idea and it'll be a lot different. It's going to be a different ball game. So comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you, and I will catch you in the next one, homies.